Ethan studied the route in silence. There was not enough data on that sector. The detour could be safer, or it could lead them blind into worse terrain. Amelia let the uncertainty settle for only a moment before presenting the next option. They would not launch the drone from the base. Not yet. If there was interference in the area, wasting visibility that early would be a mistake. Instead, they would move closer on foot. 500 meters from the impact point, from a higher position along a nearby hill, they would deploy the drone there. A short ascent, a controlled launch, an aerial scan over the canopy. Enough to confirm whether the outer route remained viable before committing to the final approach. Captain studied the model again. This time, he gave a small nod. It was not a perfect plan, but it was a workable one. And in the Amazon, workable was often the closest thing to safe. The silence that followed was brief, but meaningful. The route had been chosen. Now came the harder part. Who would go? Brooks was the first to break the tension, his voice carrying just enough hesitation to make it clear he already suspected the answer. Captain did not hesitate. He would lead the expedition himself. No one in the base knew the terrain better. No one else understood the subtle behavior of the forest the way he did. Walker crossed his arms immediately. He did not argue for long. He simply made it clear that Captain would not go alone. The offer came fast, instinctive, protective. But Captain shut it down with the same calm firmness he used for every difficult decision. If something went wrong, he needed Walker at the base. Walker knew the perimeter, the security procedures, the emergency response flow, the logistics. If the forest shifted while the team was away, the base would need someone who could react without thinking twice. Walker did not like it. That much was obvious. But he understood the logic, and that made it harder to argue. Then Kenji leaned forward. He volunteered next. He had experience with sample recovery, with handling unusual material, with working carefully when the unknown had to be touched directly. Captain accepted at once. Then his attention shifted to Brooks, the drone, the extra sensor package, field deployment. Brooks was the obvious choice. His expression said everything before he said a word. Mild irritation, resigned disbelief. The familiar frustration of a man who already knew he would end up carrying the heaviest load. Even so, he agreed. The final team was set. Captain, Kenji, and Brooks. They would move to the impact point together. Amelia, Ethan, and Walker would remain at the base. Continuous monitoring, no gaps. Any abnormal variation, no matter how small, would be reported immediately. The decision settled over the room like a locked mechanism. No one challenged it again. Amelia checked the time on her wrist and ran the schedule out loud. 7 in the morning. If they left now, they could reach the objective before 11. Collection and sensor installation should take no more than 2 hours. If everything held, if the route remained stable, if the forest allowed it, on paper, they could return before nightfall. On paper, many things looked simple. Captain acknowledged the timeline with a slight nod. No optimism, no concern, only calculation. Then the room began to move. Instructions came quickly now. Kenji was told to carry only what was necessary. No excess weight, no wasted motion. Brooks was ordered to collect the equipment and prepare the drone for field launch. Captain was already mentally gone, his focus somewhere beyond the walls of the base, already walking the route before his body followed. He gave them 10 minutes, water included. No one wanted dehydration in that forest. A small half-smile passed through the room at that. Brief, human, gone as quickly as it came. Then the team dispersed. Chairs scraped lightly against the floor. Boots crossed the room in fast, practiced rhythms. Doors opened, closed, gear shifted. The base, for a moment, felt alive with momentum. Walker remained behind just long enough to watch Captain head for the exit. Kenji was already calculating. Brooks exhaled like a man preparing for inevitable suffering. And Captain stepped toward the outside world once more. Then Amelia called his name. It stopped him, only for a second. He turned. She moved a little closer, lowering her voice now that the others were gone. The room felt different in the quiet after the meeting. Smaller, more honest. She mentioned the brief interferences, the inconsistent readings, the flickers that still had no satisfying explanation. It could be nothing. She made that clear. She did not want to sound alarmed, but the warning remained. If anything felt wrong out there, anything unusual, anything outside the expected, she wanted to know immediately. Captain held her gaze for a moment. He did not dismiss the concern. He did not dramatize it. He simply accepted it. A measured acknowledgement. Then he turned and left. Amelia remained still for a few seconds after he was gone. The hum of the monitors returned to fill the room. The data remained stable. The maps remained precise. The plan remained intact. Everything looked controlled, organized, predictable. But beyond the walls of the base, the forest waited. And somewhere inside it, 1.8 kilometers away, something had already fallen from the sky. In the equipment area, Brooks moved with the focused quiet of someone who had done this before, and still did not fully trust the process. He opened the metal cabinet and lifted the drone carefully, setting it on the workbench with both hands. One rotor, then the other. He spun them slowly, checking resistance, checking balance. Then he powered the unit on for a brief moment. A short electric hum, controlled, precise, before cutting it off again. Battery level, cable connection, auxiliary sensor module. He checked each one without rushing, without ceremony. Then, almost to himself, he murmured something low. A quiet request directed at the machine, the kind of thing a person says when they need something to work and cannot afford for it not to. He folded the drone into the technical pack and pulled the zipper shut with slightly more force than necessary. Then he stood still for a moment, just breathed. Across the base, Kenji worked in a different kind of silence. His table was clean before he started. It always was. He laid out the sterilized sample containers one by one, 3 at first, then 4. He considered the number, then added one more. Beside them sat a small black, rigid case. He opened it carefully. Inside, padded compartments divided the interior into individual numbered sections, each one designed to hold a single solid sample without contamination, without contact, without error. He tested the fit of one container, closed the lid, ran his fingers across the latch before securing it. It was not anxiety that made him move that way. It was something closer to respect for the unknown material they were about to handle, for the process that separated good science from dangerous assumptions. He placed the case into his pack with the same precision he gave to everything that mattered. Captain's preparation took less time and carried more weight. He opened his personal locker. Inside, a flashlight, a field radio, a compass, a first aid kit, and a sidearm, compact, reliable, already familiar in his hand before he had finished reaching for it. He removed the magazine, checked the rounds, reinserted it, pulled the slide back slightly to confirm the chamber, engaged the safety. Every movement was calm, trained, absent of hesitation. He holstered the weapon at his side and closed the locker door. Behind him, slightly out of focus, a larger cabinet stood against the wall. A label marked its contents. Tactical equipment. It remained locked. It remained closed. Captain picked up his pack and did not look back at it. Outside the base, morning light filtered through the high canopy in broken shafts, touching the damp ground in slow, shifting patterns. Kenji was already at the perimeter when Brooks arrived, both of them adjusting their loads in silence, neither one speaking yet. Brooks looked down the trail ahead, narrow dark between the trees, already disappearing into the forest before it had properly begun. He noted, almost to no one, that 3 hours of walking in a straight line was already a difficult prospect. Kenji replied without looking up. They would not be walking in a straight line. Brooks absorbed that for a moment. No, of course they would not. Captain approached from behind, pulling on his gloves, his eyes already fixed on the trail with the measured focus of someone who had stopped thinking about the base the moment he stepped outside it. He asked if they were ready. Kenji gave a small nod. Brooks confirmed without hesitation. Captain studied the path ahead for a few seconds, not with doubt, but with the habit of a man who never moved into uncertain terrain without first reading it. Then they took the first steps forward. Behind them, a voice cut through the morning air. Amelia. They stopped. She crossed from the base entrance to the edge of the perimeter, stopping just short of the boundary. Her expression was controlled, professional, but the fact that she had come out at all said more than her tone did. She wanted regular check-ins, every 2 hours a confirmed signal, position and status, regardless of conditions. She paused before adding the part that carried the real meaning, especially if everything seemed normal. Captain understood exactly what she was not saying. He confirmed the schedule without elaboration. 2 hours, without exception. Amelia held his gaze for a moment longer than the conversation required. Then she told him she would be monitoring. A brief silence. Captain gave a single nod. The three of them turned and moved back onto the trail. The forest received them slowly. First the shadows, then the sound, then the distance. Tree by tree, the base disappeared behind them. Amelia remained at the perimeter, watching until there was nothing left to watch. The jungle closed around them, and somewhere ahead, still and silent and waiting, the forest kept its secret a little longer.